Welcome to another segment of Classical Greek Values and Modern Realities, sponsored by the Aristotle and Alexander Press. Today's segment is called Ethics, the Good Life Then and Now. And with us, Harrison Sheppard.
Thank you, Dimitri. Relating the field of ethics between classical Greek values and modern realities is not difficult at all. The word ethics, of course, has its origins in the Greek word ethos, meaning the customs of the people. That we identify our notions of ethics with our legacy from ancient Greece is very clear by looking at one of the great paintings depicting the philosophers of antiquity. Michelangelo's School of Athens shows all of the Greek philosophers and scientists and mathematicians of the time celebrating our Hellenic legacy and classical Greek values. At the very center of Michelangelo's painting are Aristotle and Plato in dialogue, and to the left, discoursing with a number of people, is Socrates. Among Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, we really receive in their works, or at least Socrates as we know him through Plato, the most fundamental and detailed ideas about what the good life might be and what our aspirations as ethical or moral human beings should be. Socrates, whose pursuit was of self-knowledge and who said the unexamined life is not worth living, identified the ethical life with a proper understanding of one's relationship to his fellow man as well as to the cosmos. Plato's dialogues are imbued with a deep sense of what it means to be ethical, or as the Greeks would have said, virtuous. His great dialogue, Meno, begins with the question asked of Socrates, what is virtue and how can it be acquired? Is it taught? Does it come by nature? This inquiry was very deeply at the center of ancient Greek values and probably embodied most meticulously by Aristotle in his Nicomachean Ethics. Aristotle is well known for his saying, panmetron ariston, which is balance in all things is best, or moderation in all things. That was the signal notion of ethics that are derived from classical Greek values. How does that compare to our notions today? Well, our ethical notions today are much more individualistic. We're much more accustomed to saying that it's all right to do your own thing. And we've lost, particularly with the excesses of materialism and consumption in American society, that sense of panmetron ariston. This is indeed the main theme of the book, the first book that will be published by Aristotle and Alexander Press, Too Much for Our Own Good, which documents in the ways that we've lost that tradition of panmetron ariston to our great social, political, economic, household, and international harm. In short, in considering classical Greek values and modern realities, we have to say that we derive the best of our legacy of ethics from ancient Greece, and we are unfortunately in danger of losing them.
Harrison, you have discussed about the roots of ethics coming from ancient Greece, but what are some of the differences between ethics and morality today and ethical standards, ethics in ancient Greece?
There are several differences that we have to take into account. The most notable, of course, is that in ancient Greek there was slavery. Now, slavery as an institution in ancient Greece was not the same as slavery in the American South. In fact, a Corinthian visiting Athens once complained that you couldn't tell in Athens the difference between free men and slaves because slaves had so much liberty. We would say probably, though, that the institution of slavery itself, in that respect, may have made ancient Greek society less ethical than our own. Also, we might say that women, of course, have acquired much greater ethical standing in our modern realities than in ancient Greece, although I think we can go too far by thinking that women were so totally discriminated against then. After all, in Greek theater, there are many women who are central figures. In Plato's Republic, he points out that women can be philosopher kings as well as men can be. And Pericles, the great Athenian democrat, relied on Aspasia as probably his most important political advisor. The biggest difference, the most notable difference that we can say between classical Greek values in terms of their ethical perspectives and modern realities is the shift from a sense that as an individual we have indissoluble ties to our community, and that what we do must balance our individual desires and wants and needs with the duties we have to community. We must, in other words, observe Aristotle's maxim pan metron ariston in our relations with others. That's something that has been progressively lost in the fierce individualism of Americans, and something that needs to be mitigated, moderated, so that we can restore to a healthier society what it was that we originally received from the Greeks, and unfortunately we are in danger of losing.
Harrison, thank you very much for making the presentation today. Ladies and gentlemen, join us next Saturday. Next Saturday we're going to talk about the fine and dramatic arts from Homer to Hollywood. And I would like to repeat once again that this series is presented by the Aristotle and Alexander Press. Thank you.